Hello, everybody, and welcome. Yay! It is January 6th of 2015. A brand new year has begun, and this is an impromptu video. As I was doing some reflection today, it came to me that I can't keep all this reflection for myself. It's time to share it. So, believe it or not, this is completely impromptu. I kind of know what I'm going to say, but for once, I'm just going to let it flow. And I'm hoping that this method of communication is going to serve you and inspire you because that is when we are at our best, when we are uncensored and we just allow ourselves to be and to share what we know inside ourselves to be true, to be wise, to be deep. So, are you ready? Are you ready for some impromptu wisdom and inspiration on how to live a life you absolutely love? And my secret ingredient for that is courageous faith. So, what do I mean by courageous faith? Well, courageous faith. It's a cool word, first of all, isn't it? Let me break it down and actually go backward and say what faith is. Faith, to me, is just that inner confidence with which you relate to yourself. You relate to each other, to different people. It could be your friends, it could be your strangers. It is how you relate to the world. Your world view is shaped by your faith. Do you see the world as being a scary place where you have to watch out for every step that you take? Or is it a trusting place where good things happen to good people and all I have to do is do my part and the concept of karma? How do you see yourself? How do you see others? How do you see the world? That is what faith is grounded in because it's that inner confidence with which you relate, with which you exchange, with which you interact, right? So now imagine your faith, whatever your worldview is, wherever you lie on that wide spectrum of possibilities and perspectives, just imagine what would happen when you put courage in front of that faith? So, inner confidence and faith, oops, inner confidence and courage. What would happen when those two come together? Yep, you guessed it. Action, right? It would be activation of something remarkable, of something great, of something that is progressive, right? So for me, then, courageous faith is you, me, and any one of us and all of us expressing our greatest potential with inner confidence. That is what courageous faith is all about. So let me say it again. Courageous faith is expressing our greatest potential with inner confidence. How does that sound? Sounds amazing? Are you ready to see what would come up for you when you express yourself with that much inner confidence and take action on it, right? So while faith is this place of being and it allows you to be strong, to feel the confidence, courage is really what helps you to take action. So some of you may know, others may not. I am a dream builder coach. I'm a visionary. I'm a teacher. I am a facilitator, right? I'm a leader. Oh, and I'm a businesswoman too. I take a lot of pride to say that to you today and even giggle a little bit because that's an identity I've had to build for myself, and it took a lot of courageous faith for me to own that particular um, role of a businesswoman. Because I'm telling you, I grew up saying I would never be these three things. Number one, I would never be a doctor. All the blood and the pain and the suffering and having to deal with it. not my cup of tea. I would never, like, I'm not a math person. So all the things around just being a scientist and, like those type of things and sitting technical things, I said I would not be doing as an everyday ongoing career. And the third thing I said I would never do was to be a businesswoman, to have my own business. And more so than anything else, the reason why I never ever saw myself as being a businesswoman was because I saw my dad. He is extremely intelligent, very disciplined. I mean, he has all that you need for success. And yet, growing up, I barely knew him. I barely saw him. I have very few memories with my dad when I was really young. And what I took away from that experience of the lack of my dad's presence in my life in those younger years was that business is too stressful. You work so hard, and for what? It keeps you away from your family, and there's still tensions around it. So, what's the point, right? And so that's why I said I would never own my own business because family, my relationships with people, with family, with friends, with everyone that I come into contact with are really important. And the last thing I wanted was to let those relationships be compromised because I was so caught up in a business, right? And then the world changed, right? And it wasn't the world that changed. Let me take that back. What changed was my perspective. What changed was my awareness. And what changed was my level of courage that I was able to apply to my own faith, right? So, again, faith is the inner confidence with which you relate to yourself and to others. And so, unknowingly, by saying, oh, being a businesswoman is not the thing for me, what I was really saying is that I'm limited and it is impossible for me to have a business, to make it successful, and still be successful in my family life, right? And there was a disconnect between those two values for me. And therefore, I just pushed one aside and I said, that's not for me. But the truth is that it can be. And over the last 2, 3 years, I've been meeting more and more people who are actually experiencing far greater financial freedom, far greater time freedom, because they are business people, men and women, right? Um, and when they talk about their lifestyle and they share the techniques that they use, I'm like, yeah, that is possible. And that is what I want, right? I want the freedom and the flexibility of my time for me to decide what it's going to be versus applying for a request for time off for 5 days because I can only really take 3 days off, but I really would love to take 10 days off, and doing the math in my head and with my supervisor and saying, how many days can I really take off now or next month or next year, right? How long do I have to wait to do what I really want to do now? So, point being, so what really changed? Um, what changed was that before I was relating to my career, to my potential, to what I could deliver, to what I could do, to ways that I could serve in limited ways. I was that's actually ironic. I was relating to possibilities with a mindset of limitation. Doesn't that sound ironic? That's interesting, huh? But that really is what was true for me for a very long period of time. It wasn't until literally last year when I seriously started accepting this possibility that yes, I could be a businesswoman, and yes, not only could I be a businesswoman um, for career and reasons because it fits well with the vision that I have as a career woman, but it's also the best way for me to be me fully unfiltered. It's the best way for me to be the daughter, the sister, the wife, the mother that I imagine myself to be, as well as a friend and all the other roles that I play, right? So, why am I sharing this with you today? As we are beginning the year 2015, I was doing a lot of reflection, right? I did some rituals around leaving behind things that weren't serving me anymore. I did a lot of reflection around what do I actually need and what do I actually want to move forward. I created a whole vision plan for the year 2015, outlined with travels and meeting my significant other and speaking on TED Talk, and serving lots and lots of people with the work that I do, inspiring them, engaging with them, having tons of fun, and of course, financial and time freedom as well. And then I noticed something. I noticed that I had dreamed up this beautiful life that I would absolutely love to live. And I felt stuck. I felt like something was missing, like I needed something else before I could take the action. Like I just literally felt like um, something was stopping me. And so today I got curious with that. And I was like, what is it that's stopping you, this name? And then this is what I really got. And again, it's interesting because I've been studying so much over the last 2 years or so, and my level of awareness has been expanding. My level of knowledge has been expanding, and yet, you never know when something is going to click, and you say, "Okay, I get it now." I didn't really get it yesterday, but I get it today, and today was one of those moments. And this is it. This is a distinction that got really clear for me that feels right to me right now in this moment today, right? For me personally. And that is a distinction between fear and what a good friend of mine, Nigel Henry, likes to call turbo, right? So fear is something that comes up in our lives whenever we are trying to, whenever we um, break, do something that is unfamiliar, or step into the unknown territory, or even think about stepping into the unknown territory. That's when something called fear, commonly known as fear, comes up, right? And it shows up in many different ways. It can be like, oh, am I I have to do this level of reflection and this work before I'm ready to do that, right? I have to prepare my talk before I can actually give my talk. I have to have an audience before I can deliver my message. Right? Or I have to have this much amount of money in my bank account before I can actually, right? So all these things come up in our lives, these conditions seem bigger and they make complete sense on an intellectual level, common sense on the mind level, right? That says, you're not ready to take the next step. You have to do X first, right? And so what happens is that sometimes these distractions, they come in form of distractions, they come in form of temptation, right? Let me do this, I really want to do this first, so I'll come back to this later, right? Because that unknown territory, that dream, that idea that is so huge and so attractive is also intimidating, right? And so, point being that a lot of times it can hold us back. And feelings of not being ready, not having enough, not doing enough, and all those different things can come up. And the best way of looking at fear is to look at it as an opportunity for reflection, as an opportunity to make a decision, right? Am I ready to take the next step, or do I want to, stay in this area for 10 more minutes before I make that decision? Right? So it's a great space to be. A lot of people relate to fear with a lot of like negativity, like it's bad. Fear means back off, just, you know, um, there's a lot of like, I don't want to be afraid. Who wants to accept that they have been afraid, right? And then yet the truth is that we have all had elements or a time when we felt afraid. So fear is a great opportunity to actually step back, reflect, and say, Hmm, this is interesting. All these emotions and things are coming up for me. What does this actually mean? What can I really do about it? And I'll be honest, for not all of 2014, because I did take some really bold steps in 2014, and I was very courageous, and I didn't let my fear hold me back. I did it afraid, right? Um, so there is value in being afraid when you see it as what it is, and you decide, even in the presence of those emotions, those feelings, you're going to step forward, right? um, Now, what's the big distinction that I made today? The big distinction that finally clicked for me today is that fear is whatever it is. It's that feeling, right? And it's good in its own place because it's an opportunity to reflect, a call for an invitation to make a decision. But turbo is activation. Turbo means that, like when to start a car, you have to turn on the keys to the engine and there's this loud sound. And even if it's a new car, there's a sound, there's this build up energy that has to go boom before the momentum is built enough for you to push on the accelerator and start going. So turbo is really just a physical action. It's an activation that means I'm ready. I'm ready. Let's go. So, the distinction that I made today in my head is that it's so important. It is so, 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 so important to make the distinction for myself in any given moment when I think I'm feeling fear, to check in with myself and say, hey, am I feeling fear, and therefore this is an invitation for me to reflect and make a decision? Or is this turbo, which means I'm ready, let's get going, right? Which one is it? Is it fear or is it turbo? And today, what I realized for me in this moment of time is that I'm ready. What I have is turbo, not fear. Because I have been doing so much work over the last year and plus, right? On building myself, on building a strong foundation where I've done a lot of the inner work for myself so that as I go out in this world to do the outer work, right? To do um, things that I need to do in order to live my dream rather than just imagining it, rather than just connecting with it on an emotional level. I'm ready now. I'm ready to take the action. It's turbo time, right? And so today, I think this video, as I'm starting to wrap up, let me try to summarize so um, you can get the gist of it. There are a couple of takeaways from this video and my intention with this video. And that's number one is to wish you a very happy new year and the very best, the most amazing year you can imagine, for that amazing year to be 2015, right? So I invite you to dream up 2015, a year that you would love to live, and just imagine, what could that be like? What would it feel like? What would you be doing? What would you be seeing? What would you be hearing? Where would you be going? Right? Dream it up, and then check in with yourself. Check in with yourself. Identify 3 steps you can take, at least 3 steps you can take in order to take action on your dream, right? So it's not just a thought, but now it's becoming a strategy. And as you identify those action steps, and even if you're having a hard time identifying those action steps, wherever you are, become curious with what's coming up for you, what's emerging for you, right? Um, is it fear? Is it an opportunity, an invitation for you to do some deep reflection and to work on yourself so you are actually ready and more prepared to live the life you're imagining? Or is it an invitation, just that jittery feeling of saying, hey, I'm ready. Let's go. Let's take this first step. And then you take the first step, and the second step becomes easier. You take the second step, right? Which one is it? Where are you at in your journey right now? I am at the place where I'm ready to take my action steps. And I think one reason for doing this video is for you to witness me in this statement, in this declaration, when I say that 2015 is going to be the best year ever, inshallah, right? Um, I want you to witness this for me, to hold this for me, to believe this for me, that indeed the life that I have dreamed up is indeed the life that I'm going to be living. And you know what? On a closing note, it doesn't matter what the results turn out to be in 2015. That's not what living a life you love or dreaming it up is all about, right? Living a life you love means you doing everything you can do that is within your control, and you are being everything that you can be in order that just resonates with you, right? So it's living that courageous faith, right? You are relating with inner confidence, and you're acting with inner confidence, with courage. That is what a life you love is all about. Then whatever the results are, they are. It will be this or something better still, right? So um, I hope that has served you. I appreciate you watching this video and being my witness. And just know that I appreciate you believing, even for a moment, even for a second, that everything that I have imagined for myself is actually coming true. Thank you. Thank you for thinking that for me and for sending your best wishes to me. And I want you to know that you have my belief in you. You have my belief that whatever you imagine for yourself is true, can be true, and will be true as long as you live with courageous faith. I look forward to being of service to you. If anything that I have said has resonated with you on any level and you're curious or you have questions about it, just you know how to reach me. You can email me at tfnoor, T for Tasneem, F for Farah, N for Nancy, OOR, at gmail.com. You can visit my website, tasneemnoor.com, or I think those are 2 good ways to reach me for now. Yeah. And you can have a conversation. We can schedule a time, or I can just answer your questions over email or whatnot. So either way, get in touch with me. Let me know that you're rooting for me and give me the privilege of telling you in person, I'm rooting for you. All right. So I hope to see you in 2015. Here's to an amazing year ahead, an amazing evening, an amazing day. Just lots of wonderful things to come up. Take care. Stay beautiful. Stay cool or maybe warm. I don't know where you are, but stay awesome either way. All right. Take care. Bye.